Mike's been honored on many levels, and tonight I'm proud to see Mike recognized for his talent and dedication to the FDU sports community.
Oh, that's a hard one to top, man. I don't know. I think I may just sit down now. Marty and I have known each other for over 35 years, as he pointed out. You know, we were teammates, we were roommates. We're at each other's wedding party. You know, our daughters live in Austin and work down in Austin. You know, but Marty's an accomplished graduate of Fairleigh as well. He's a dental surgeon up in Rhode Island. He's a clinical instructor at Brown University. You know, last time I looked, that was Ivy League. And I just can't think 35 years ago when we were sitting in the campus pub drinking beers and pounding kamikazes that we'd be standing here tonight. Both of us together. So I thank you for being here and appreciate everything you said tonight. A couple of people I need to thank tonight. One, Mary Kay Stratus and Sue McConville. I guess they made it. They made sure I got on this Hall of Fame docket, I guess. You know, must have been a slow day at the office when the committee started voting for me when my name rolled up. But you know, it only took 32 years since I graduated, so you know, it's deserved, I think, as far as I can tell. But as Marty said, you know, I grew up in Canada, and I just happened to be fortunate enough to attend a high school with a great track coach, and he's here tonight. Stand up, Yvonne. Yvonne was the eventual Olympic coach for Canada for the throwing event, so it's a pretty good compliment on his part for reaching that level. And he instilled all that, you know, hard work in us. And like Marty said, we learned a lot from him. You know, he was really teaching us to live life after we finished athletics. You know, he taught us discipline, he taught us work ethic, he taught us everything, you know. And there's a lot of guys that benefited from what he did for us. And I thank you, Yvonne, for that. And our high school was probably one of the best throwing and track and field environments in Canada. And most of the kids that went to school there or was coached by Yvonne ended up down in the States on Division I track scholarships for throwing. And he devoted a lot of his time to us, you know, away from his own family. And his wife, Bronca's here tonight. And I apologize for that, Bronca. But, you know, so when I arrived at Fairleigh Dickinson, you know, Fairleigh basically was ill prepared for throwers. You know, they had no facilities. We had no throwing coaches. We had no weight rooms. We had no discus circles or shot put circles or, you know, hammer circles. So we had to compromise, and we ended up throwing off the high jump tarmac onto the soccer field. And you guys will appreciate this. The soccer players, we threw this thing called a hammer, and I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's a 16-pound ball on the end of a wire. And when that hits the ground, it puts like big holes in the ground and dents. And all the soccer players used to complain because, you know, they'd roll their ankles or break their ankles on the field after we finished working out and throwing. So that was you know, we thought it was going to be a step up for us, but when we came to Fairleigh, there was really nothing for us, you know, beyond what I just mentioned, you know. But eventually we got into a gym where we could lift weights, and at the time I attended Fairleigh, the track program was, you know, pretty much in its infancy stage. It was really growing big and bigger and bigger, and eventually became a national powerhouse. But you know, really, there was never any throwers on the team, and we kind of filled that link in and contributed as best as we could. And most people don't even remember us throwing very, very far and accumulating a lot of points, but you know, we pretty much accumulated a lot of points every single meet to contribute to the team titles, like Marty had mentioned. When I arrived when I arrived on campus, you know, we ended up finding a set of, I guess, Olympic weights in this gym over on the main campus at Fairleigh Dickinson's Teaneck campus in the basement, inside a dance studio, inside a closet. There was all these weights in there, and that was where we used to work out. The problem with that was that the gym was closed on weekends, you know, so we'd have to leave the window open at Friday night so we could come on Saturday and crawl through the window and jump down in and get our weights out of the closet so we could lift again. I think I was injured more doing that, trying to get this fat body through those little windows, you know, in order to work out. So those were the days, you know, that we had nothing and we had to make do with what we had. And I think eventually that really made us better, because we had to compromise. You know, there was so much hardship in even trying to work out every single day. It was just crazy. But being part of this team really, you know, when I attended Fairleigh, being part of this team was a big priority for me. You know, we wanted to make a mark, and we came from Canada, you know, a couple other athletes, and people just looked at us like we were crazy, like Marty made sure he told everybody. But, you know, they didn't know what to think of us. You know, the first day I checked into the dorm, we were all standing there talking with all the roommates, and there was about 12 or 13 of us in this dormitory. And there were some pretty wealthy kids in there, and they asked me, you know, Mike, what kind of car did you get when you graduated high school? And I said, well, you know, I got a Seiko, you know, and they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I got a watch and a case of Molson for graduation and a pat on the back, you know, that was it. So they you know, kind of looked at me funny, and then I said, you really talk funny too, you know. You got that weird accent, you pronounce words weird, you know, and it's like, and I didn't really realize that until I uttered this sentence, you know, one day when we were going to go get some beer at a local beer store. I said, hey, hosers, how about we go down to the Brewers Retail and grab a couple of 2-4s of Brador, and then head over to the LCBO and grab a couple of liters of Screech, eh? And they looked at me like I was you know, from a different planet, which probably, I think, you know, at the time most people thought Canada was a different planet. Nobody knew where Canada was, especially Marzan over there. But those days were great for me, and it was a lot of fun, you know, and I was glad to be a part of this team. It was a growing team, and, you know, we used to get in trouble a lot by, you know, drinking beer all the time. And I was used to say to Marty, if partying was part of the college curriculum, we would have amassed enough credit hours to graduate in 2 years instead of 4, right? So it was a crazy time for us. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. And this award really isn't, you know, it's not about me. It's about everybody that helped me get to this point in my life. You know, you can't do it alone. And most of the people that played a part in my life are here tonight. So I just want to thank you all. Appreciate it.